Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Esper Vial with Abhorrent Oculus. Esper Vial is a classic deck that involves getting Aether Vial into play, using it to play value creatures like Baleful Strix and Recruiter of the Guard and Orcish Bowmasters, Samwise, all of which have Enter the Battlefield triggers. Even these lands, Witch Enchanter and Bogart Trawler have powerful Enter the Battlefield triggers. So we're going to get those triggers off of Aether Vial, and then later we're going to blink those creatures with Yorion, and we're going to get the value again. This deck is basically like Death and Taxes that plays Force of Will. And because we have blue, we also have access to Abhorrent Oculus. Normally, pretty tricky to cast since you need to have 6 cards from your graveyard, but we can just put them into play with Vial, and we've got a 5/5 flyer that generates even more value. Pretty good. Since we're playing Recruiter of the Guard, we've got Silver Bullets in Lavinia and Hullbreacher and Harbinger of the Seas. And of course, as I mentioned, Bogart Trawler and Witch Enchanter, which you can get off of Recruiter along with Skyclave, which can deal with problematic permanents or deal with graveyards. So we're hoping to have game against pretty much everything. There is a little combo in the list in that we have 4 Felia and a Flicker Wisp, and we can get Overlord of the Balemurk out. We can pay 1 black and 1 colorless to get Overlord out, and then we can flip the Overlord, and we don't have to wait for the impending counters. We can just get the Overlord right back, and we get the Enter the Battlefield trigger again, and we have a 5/5 that is quite menacing, like kind of like our Build Your Own Uro. So the list is very complicated to play. It's not easy at all. We have a Caracas in here. We've got to be very efficient in how we fetch. We do have dual lands that we can fetch here. We've got 2 Underground Seas, 3 Tundras. We have, I think, 14 fetches, quite a few. The fetches can almost all get everything in the deck. We've got 2 Surveil lands. And then we have the 4 Wastelands, which can potentially be recurred with Samwise. And once you get the Vial in place and you draw a Wasteland, even though this is a very mana-hungry deck, sometimes you just want to time walk your opponent with a Wasteland, especially if you're creating Tomio clues or something like that. The blue count is tricky because we've got so many non-blue cards we want to play, but I think I've got like 22 or something, like pretty low to support Force, but we can bolster that a lot. Let's talk about the sideboard. So we just bring in 4 Force Negations against combo decks. That's it. It's like really as simple as that. Against Eldrazi, you just bring in 4 Consign to Memory. We've already got our main deck Harbinger. And then against Graveyard Strategies, we just bring in the 4 Very Macabre. Now, I am aware that this is not as good against Oops All Spells or against Dredge as just having like a Leyline of the Void or something like that. But I don't think it's correct to play Leyline of the Void in an 80-card deck. That is my humble assessment. Oh, and I have 2 Hydroblasts. It's just a good card. I think it's an underrated card, and there are a lot of red decks running around. So, and we get to play like the best removal spell ever. We get to play the best cantrip ever. We get to play Force of Will. So this is kind of like a greatest hits of, non-creature spells, and then we get to also play all the best creatures. Only 16 non-creature spells in the entire deck, including the Vial and those 4 instants that I just mentioned. So it is very much just creature chess. Like you're just trying to figure out the lines, figure out what you need at any given moment to advance your game plan, to deal with your opponent's board. Should be a lot of fun. We're going to play a full 5 rounds. As always, leave comments with timestamps if you have questions about my play or suggestions. This will not only help me, this will help everybody else tuning in, and have fun above all else. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're on the play against an unknown opponent. We're going to reveal Yorion here. We wish our opponent luck. This is not a keep. It would be so great if we had a land here. We do have a high land count. We've got like 31 lands in the deck, so this is a keep. I like the Force. I think all these cards are great, actually. Hullbreacher is probably like a later thing. We don't have the land to support it. I'm going to keep. I'm going to put the Hullbreacher back. We're just going to fetch the Surveil land end step. I'll fetch the blue-white one. So we've got Force up. Baleful Strix is good against like Eldrazi and decks like that. Felia can get value out of Strix. Okay, Tundra. I'm just going to go ahead and get my Surveil. They could be on Stiflenought. I will probably force the Stifle here. Will I? I think it sets our game plan back really far. If they blow this out with the days, it's just catastrophic. But I think we need to go for it. Okay, and they did blow it out with the days. Okay, so we're off to a bad start here. Okay, but we know that they're on Stiflenought, which is good. Knowing is half the battle. All right, we just got our butts kicked there. We're going to be able to recoup with value, though. Come on, Vial. Okay, that's good. I mean, like, the conservative thing to do is they could just have a wasteland here. Conservative thing to do is to go ahead and just get a Surveil trigger now. I think I'm going to do that. This increases the likelihood that we get land for next turn. I mean, we're like sitting ducks in terms of wasteland. But I'm not going to use this mana for anything. I might as well get the Archive and get the Surveil, find land number 3, or a Vial. That is an above average card, but frankly, it's not what we're looking for. I'd rather dig to land than dig to spells that help us dig to land. And if it was a Ponder, that'd be different, but we're not actually playing Ponder. This is the rare Be Excellent deck that doesn't play Ponder. Okay, there's the waste. Put us in the dirt. My goodness, we're getting creamed here. Land, please. All right, I will take it. We can't do anything. I'm just going to play this out. I'd rather this get wasted than get my Felia wasted. They have shown that they have a wastable land. Okay, there's their Tundra. I'm not going to waste. That's not the fight. We need this land. Vial is so vile. Oh, yeah. They might have Prismatic Ending in their deck. I'm just going to do it like this. If they don't stop this, that like their entire tempo plan is invalidated. They have to force this. Spell Pierce will do it too. Most Stiflenought players are not on Spell Pierce. They are in the tank. I imagine they have some sort of interaction, and they are forcing. That is correct. Good job, opponent. You do want to force this. You almost always want to force early game Vials. They got the cool forces. They may be like their MTGO to apologize for the lag gave everybody access. That's actually how I'm playing the Oculus right now. I don't own them. They're like 70 or 80 ticks. But that might be why they have these cool looking forces. Okay, Solitude, not a dead draw, but we're chilling. I don't want to have to pitch Solitude to Felia, or pitch Felia to Solitude, but if we're under the gun enough from a Murktide, we will do it. Looks like they have run out of land drops, so we're just chilling, staring at each other. That is a great card. Let's see if this works. They can daze this. They probably should. There's the daze. Yep. We're getting those out of the way. Well, we're not just going to chill here and do nothing. You know, their hand is full of interaction, I imagine. Even though Stiflenought is very much a tempo deck, arguably the most tempo in the sense that it has Stifle on top of Daze and Wasteland, they are a control deck and they only have a few threats to close the game. And sometimes you just get lucky and they don't find threats. That is a threat that we may have to deal with. Yeah, I think we just hope to draw a blue source so we can deploy the Strix and choke it out. There we go. All right, I can't mess around. I have to fetch here. Do you have another Stifle? All right, we are in. All right, I'm just going to get my colors and we're just going to go ahead and play the Strix. I think this draws us closer to another thing that we can do here, and it deters Tamiyo aggression at least a little bit. If Tamiyo flips, it's not a big deal as long as Felia can resolve. Holy cow! I'm going to go ahead and play this now. I know that they can daze, but it's so good if it gets in. This will tick up in 5 turns. Will be Yorianing, assuming they don't remove it. Fetching. Inset Plow. No biggie. It's a 2-for-1. They are going to 2-for-1 us a lot with this Tamiyo, or maybe N-for-1 us. They have the mana to crack the clues. We are living on a prayer here with our Aether Vial. Don't have Prismatic Ending, please. A lot of these decks don't play main deck Prismatic Ending, but if they do, that's bad. What is it? 3 mana. This could be a Null Drifter to Flipper. Abhorrent Oculus. Okay, so in order to stop them from getting value, I think we probably do need to Solitude this, sadly. It's just, we're dead to it. We're going to totally die to this thing if we don't kill it. They could definitely blow us out with the days. I think we're at the point in the game where like we just need to rip like ridiculous cards every turn to survive. I don't want to give them any value. If they have the days or the force or whatever, the game's over. Yeah. All right. It's costly. Let's go ahead and I want to always yield to this. We are going to use the ability. There's a lot of clicking. I may go to time. Holy cow, that is a great draw. Okay, so we could restrict their mana. I don't know that that's correct, but it feels correct. I think with this clue out, I think it is correct to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and play this out, and you may be like, you fool, why did you expose it to plow? But I do want to waste here. Okay, and I'm just going to waste. I think now that we have this ticking up, I do think we want to restrict their options a little bit to the extent that we can. We'll be able to start targeting their clues next turn, which will reduce the amount of card draw they get if this gets to attack. If we find a value creature, then we can do a lot with this. If we find Karakas, that's great. We have a single Karakas in the deck. Okay, they have another land. All right, Vial's on 2. Tarn's not the worst. We do have a Surveillion we can use. I'm going to go and play this out first. Then I'm just going to attack, and I'll target their clue, and they can just crack it. Yeah, they're just going to crack it. It doesn't matter. They were going to do that anyway, probably. Okay. So we're not really doing anything here because they can just be patient and do that. Like we're tying up their mana, I guess. I guess the question is, do we want to go ahead and surveil now while they're less likely to be able to stifle? I don't think it matters too much. If they want to use a stifle to stop my fetch, I think that's okay. I'll just do it in their end step. If they were doing what this deck should do and play Brazen Borrower, then they're not in a horrible situation here. I think, yeah, this turn I will, I'll go ahead and surveil, and then next turn I'm going to, okay, let's see if they get, one of the great things about Felia is she can stop them from doing lots of nasty stuff with dreadnoughts and stuff. Okay, they have their own Surveillant. I think one of the thoughts I was trying to complete is I'm going to surveil, and then next turn, if I don't draw something that is good, I'm just going to go ahead and put the put Yorion into my hand. It is nice to get a surveil so we can decide whether we need to tick up to 3, because it will be good to get like uncounterability on something really good if we find something good. That is pretty awesome. Staying on the top of my library for sure. Okay, now I'm just going to plus this for sure. We can attack. I think it's correct to go ahead and play out the Oculus so we get the upkeep trigger. I'm going to go ahead and attack. Let's see what they do. If they like Plower or something, that's good for us. I'll just go after this. And then they'll crack it, and they'll have fewer resources. They tapped out a white. So that all but guarantees that we're going to be able to get an Abhorrent Oculus trigger here. So we're going to go ahead and get our Yorion here. And I'm just going to do this now. All right, Oculus is in without even having to exile our graveyard. Uncounterably. Pretty good. They were holding a force. They're definitely going to be sad. All right, let's see what we can find. Can we find some value? Unfortunately, this is still worth, I mean, gosh, we have to pay 5 mana. I'm gonna definitely choose this. If we flip it later, I mean, it at least has lifelink. Maybe, we can blank it. We can blank it with Felia, and then we can exile that. That's going to be so awesome. Sorry, as you can tell, I'm very excited. Okay, and they cut us off white, which sucks. Their own Dreadnought. That's fine. I mean, I'm just going to try to exile their Dreadnought if they don't kill my Felia. All right. Let's go to combat, or we'll see what we draw for turn. I am going to keep taking this up because I want Yorion. Force is a great rip. Let's go ahead and go to combat, and we'll just exile this, and then they'll have to stifle it a second time. We have enough life that we can survive an attack. I mean, if I blink this, it doesn't come back into the end of turn, is the problem. They could stifle the actual trigger, which would be pretty bad, but I do have a force, and I will force to protect Felia at this point. Yeah, this sucks that we have to do it this way, but I think it is correct. And now it's exiled, and they probably don't have a way to bring it back. Okay, they're just blocking. That's fine. They take 7, and then we get to Manifest Dread again. Do you have a way to keep this alive? Bye-bye. Bye, Dreadnought. Barely got to know ya. That was a blowout. That force was so clutch. It doesn't matter. I'll just manifest this. I guess the other one goes in my graveyard. Okay, the brainstorming, flipping this Desperation. Yeah, they do technically debuff our squad when they plus, but I can just flip her and then she'll come back and they don't have a planeswalker. I'm not sure that that's actually correct to do that. It might be correct to just go ahead and hit this, or this comes back as a wasteland and we can just waste them. I don't think that's good though. All right, they have some mana. They're just cracking a clue here. Wow. I did not expect to win this game. Like, I thought we were so out of it after we were hellbent that one turn. I am going to take this up to 5. Samwise. We can double waste them with Samwise. That doesn't help enough. I think I'm just going to attack with everything and flip Tamio. I'm going to attack them with everything, and then I'm just going to target Tamio herself. That's a lot of damage. 3. Yeah, I'll just hold Samwise just in case they I don't know how they would destroy any of our stuff. They get their Tamio back. We get to manifest red again. Dress down. I think that's fine because we have the ability to surprise with Samwise. They may get a Dreadnought in play, but I still think they're dead. If they kill something, then I can wait until this wears off and then I can Samwise to get it back. Like a Null Drifter wouldn't be nothing, but it's not going to stop us from winning. Oh, I can't actually play Samwise. I don't have white mana. Never mind. You were probably, I've already left a comment pointing that out. Okay. Their own Oculus. That's fine. I still think they're dead. Okay, so they get to manifest. Is this a bug? Oh, it's their Oculus. Okay, never mind. Another Aether Vial doesn't do it. I think we attack with everything. We just exile the Oculus. They're going to need a Stifle for this if they want to keep their Oculus alive. They could turn this over and it's a Dreadnought, but it's not going to stop a flyer. Okay, they're taking 4. Do you have a way to gain life? Are you going to plow your own creature? I'm okay with that. Okay, just let the 5 through. Plow. Brainstorm. Okay, they're flipping her. Post-combat. Brainstorming again. I'm just going to F6 to save time here. There's nothing for me to do here. Plow. Okay, they dropped a 1. Oh, yeah, because they blocked one of them. Okay, their Oculus is back. Okay, we could actually lose here. We could actually lose. They have a wasteland. They can waste us off land too. They're going to manifest red so they can block. I probably should have played out the Vial. That was probably actually a mistake to not play it. I mean, technically we're holding it for Brainstorm. Well, if they can stay in this game somehow, it'll be an absolute miracle for them. We've got a lot of good cards off the top. We've got Solitude. The ability to regrow a Solitude if we find an Overlord. Lots of good stuff. They manifest. If they find a Dreadnought, that's really bad for us. Come on. That's not what we wanted. I do think we go ahead and just use the ability now, probably while they're hellbent, and we can get the land back at least. So I'm going to go get a Tundra here, and I'm just going to play this out. Is there a way that we can somehow attack in and kill them? No, they can just hold this back. I'll get this back. I will make this a ring bearer. Yeah, they're just going to be able to block it. I don't think we take that trade. Hey, babe, pretty devastating. Had I traded there, it would have been a force block because of this. Unfortunately, they didn't put themselves to dead on board with his attack. They wouldn't necessarily, if either of these get through, oh, you know what? Next turn, we can potentially kill them if they plus Tamio, because these will both be 1, and they can attack underneath. This can attack underneath their blocking creature. We'll see whether they see that. Okay, they're buying that back. If they kill this instead of this, that's good. Oh, no, it's not going to be... okay, we're not going to get the ability. So we're just kind of hoping they screw up, but they can just plow their own creature to gain life. Oculus on both sides of the table has been pretty awesome here. Brainstorm, I'm going to do it. If we find a Bowmaster, we can at least ping them and force them to plow their own creature. I don't think we get there. I don't think this is going to get there. because we have to wait at least a turn to attack, and they're just gonna like. Obviously, this is problematic. We don't have a way to get this out of the way is the problem. So let's just go ahead and go to next game. Yep, that's unfortunate. We got them down to 1. I was really hopeful we could win that one after like an extremely bad start. So sideboarding this matchup, I don't think we make any changes. I mean, technically, Consign does stop Dreadnought, but I don't think it's good enough. I would be willing to bet they're playing Oculus, so they're probably not playing Null Drifter. So Harbinger can definitely come out. That card is not good here. Lavinia can come out. So I think we can probably bring in 2 Consigns for those. I don't think there are any other cards that come out. Let's do it. I think we're kind of favored in this matchup because we do have like Solitudes. We have lots of ways to blink their Dreadnoughts like we did earlier. All right, Karakas is a pretty good start. This hand is not exceptional, but it's okay. I'll keep it. And this may seem like, why did you keep that hand that does literally nothing? Like their deck doesn't do a lot other than disrupt our mana early on. I'm actually going to try to bait out Stifles with this because I don't care about Stifle. They're mulliganing. They may be like so excited that I forced their Stifle last time that they get, over anxious with their Stifle here. And it does make sense to Stifle where you can. So I think they're likely to stifle this is what I'm saying. All right, end step, I'm going to Surveil. Please stifle me. Okay, they're not going to stifle me. They didn't buy it. I'll get the Undercity because we've got... actually, I'll get the Meticulous Archive. Can't have too much white. Consign is a keepable card. I'll basically keep anything but land here. I'm going to Surveil again this turn. All right, end step, Surveil again. Getting these out of the way. You want to get them out of your deck. I saw somebody complaining about like Surveillance being annoying and not liking to find them and stuff. And I'm like, just pull them out of your deck as quickly as you can and you don't have to worry about drawing them. Same wise, yeah, I mean, like, we don't immediately have anything we can do with him, but he is pretty good. We do have the Karakas. All right, so I think we could just go for the Recruiter here and just be mana efficient. They'll probably daze this, but it's still a 1-for-1. If it's in for some reason, then that's huge. I think they're just dazing it. They're maybe hard casting a daze so they don't have to set themselves back on land drop. We definitely... Samwise can't get stuff that was countered. It can only get stuff that was put from the battlefield. Okay, they're just dressing it down. That's fine. This is a kind of 1-for-1 interaction because they get a card. We don't get a card, but they did spend a card to get it. We're vulnerable right now to Dreadnought, but we do have Witch Enchanter, which we can cast. Okay. I'm just going to play like this and attack. And we'll hold up Samwise. If they waste us again, we can just Samwise to get the land back. Brainstorming. All right, and I opted not to use Samwise there. There wasn't anything to get back. I think we just be patient here. I could put Yorion in my hand here. I'm going to hold out hope that there is something to do with Samwise here. Because Yorion, like, blinking is not a big deal. I don't think that's worth countering. I'm going to hope that they waste us this turn. I will probably just put Samwise out anyway. Either way. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. He doesn't get anything back, but he does get tempted. We can swing, and then we have Karakas up to bounce him back to hand if we need to. Brainstorm's great. I'm going to go ahead and attack first. They're not representing Hull Breacher mana, so I think... I mean, Hull Breacher is not usually played, but I play it. I like it. I think it's really fun when I'm playing blue-white to do that. I think I'm going to go ahead and Brainstorm here. We have lots of cards we'd like to put back. Okay, this is great. So what I'll do is I'll just put this back. I'll put this back. Now we can just play this out. And I think I just wait till the end step and then I can fetch and then Karakas and recast. That way we have Consign up in case we need it. That's fine. I feel like we're definitely favored. I'm just worried about time. They have 3 minutes more than we do. Because we have like all these Vial triggers and stuff like that. And like our deck is just like a lot more complicated to play than theirs is. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get another Tundra. I like having lots of white. Now I'm going to Karakas this back. They may attempt to plow. I think if they do, maybe it's a force. Yeah, I think it's a force. Because this is a little engine that we've got going here. If they force back, that's okay. Okay, we get it back. Now we can just recast it. Get our land back. All right, and now we can just discard this land. We may need this land, but now Samwise has a loot trigger associated with him. Recruiter's great. I think I'm just going to attack and see what happens. Witch Enchanter is pretty good. Has a relevant ETB trigger. Oh yeah, I'm going to definitely discard this. Okay. So options, I think the simplest thing to do is go ahead and just put this out and see what we draw. And then we can decide whether we want to go for Recruiter. We're outvaluing them hard. Abhorrent Oculus is good. I don't want to cast that into Daze. If I just Witch Enchanter, I don't have to worry about Daze. Yeah, I don't think our land is that big of a deal. I'm going to play it. Is that correct? I think it's totally fine to just put... No, I want to get this out. I want to play quickly. Let's play it. We will shock. Now I'm just going to boom, boom, boom. We have exactly 6 cards that Exile My Voice is giving out. Okay. All right. We're in a good position. Fetch land in the yard. Null Drifter probably. And they'll probably stifle it. So they're going to get cards. I'll just plow it. Oh, their own Abhorrent Oculus. If we are able to successfully plow it, we don't have to deal with it. If not, we can just... What do we do? I mean, it's going to die. I think this is fine. I'm going to let that resolve now. I mean, I think it's fine to just give them the thing and then not get dazed. Getting dazed would suck pretty hard. We can also just return this in the end step and we can reuse it. I think it's fine. So we can get back our Baleful Strikes if they crash into that. 8 minutes on the clock to win 2 games. I don't think it's likely we win. I'll just tell you right now. So if you're one of those people who gets frustrated when you see me go to time, I apologize. Okay, so first things first, let's just attempt to plow this. Okay, that worked. I'm going to go ahead and do this first. I do want to... Yeah, I'm going to do this. Okay, let's see. What do we get here? We have to be decisive. We have the mana for a Skyclave up. You just get a Flicker Wisp, which seems pretty good. It attacks in the air. It flickers bad permanents. Okay, and then I think I'm going to go ahead and attempt to cast this again just for the virtue. Like, if they daze it, it's not that big a deal. But if we can make one of these legendary, that's really good. I would love to make our Recruiter legendary. Yeah, they are dazing it. Okay, I got greedy. Okay, that's fine. Then I'm just going to attack with both of these. Be aggressive. We get a trigger. Oh, we don't get a trigger because we don't have a... Okay, that's fine. Dress down, entered the battlefield. Okay, cool. So we get to see what it was. It was dress down. So we're basically at the Yorion level where we can just like Yorion now. That is a lot of triggers. There's a lot of clicks. But we have to win somehow. If they have another Oculus, that they can cast that now. If they go all in on a Phyrexian Dreadnought, that's fine with me. Prismatic Ending. All right. Can we get the Overlord? That would be great. Okay, Force is fine, but we can't really use it. I think what we do is we just flicker this, and we can go get a Baleful Strix. We won't be able to cast it until end step. We could just get Hull Breacher. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to flicker this. I'm going to go get Hull Breacher. Maybe I just get a Strix. Because I am going to go ahead and just put Yorion in my hand. He's too good to ignore here. Yep. So they can't attack in anymore. We could just go get Bowmaster. I think Hull Breacher is pretty good because they like absolutely have to plow that, or it just completely cramps their style. Ponder, getting those out of the way. If they flipper now, it's fine. Again, like I've got Felia, I've got lots of stuff to interact. We can technically Yorion infinitely here. We just can't win in 6 minutes. Twice. I'm going to try to win this game though. Just too grindy of a matchup. Like they have so many answers. And I'm still, like this is the first time I played this deck in like maybe like 3 or 4 months. Aborrent Oculus is, I mean, we could force this and just not deal with it. It is a pretty good card. They could just daze if we force. I think we just let it happen, as sad as that is. Because, okay, they can't create a clue with Tamio unless they want to die. Okay, so now they get a creature. Overlord is really good. We don't have enough to Overlord and... So I'm going to go ahead and do this. If I can find a Solitude, I will probably pitch cast Felia for momentum here. We can just give back Samwise, and then we can attack for a ton with the Recruiter. Yeah, I like that. So now what we can do is, I do want to go ahead and Samwise here. I'm going to make my Recruiter like nearly unblockable. Okay, and the Ring Bearer is going to be Recruiter. Now we can go ahead and attack. Our ring is not fully leveled up. Yeah. If they block here, it's a mistake. Vial is too late. I can easily discard that. It's too late in the game. Too many triggers, too much clock. Okay, they're not blocking. All right. Any other game actions? I think we just pass. Okay, just coming in with both of these. I'm going to block and then I'm going to bounce it. If they turn it over, they can win now. Is that lethal? It's 12. That's 17. That's a lot. Yeah, I guess I severely underestimated the ability for my opponent to do this. I could have just Felia there, and maybe it gets dazed, but Felia is a way to get that out of play. So one option I have here. Yeah, man, this card is really good, as we're seeing. It's good on our side of the table. It's good on our opponent's side of the table. Okay, let's see what we do here. Okay, land is good. I am going to use it. We're putting ourselves pretty close to dead here if we do. Gosh, what do we do here? I mean, Yorion, we can just flicker this and kill it that way. We can flicker that out of play. Search for a... I think Yorion's good here. Yorion can't block this is the problem. Yorion can do a lot. I think Yorion is the answer. We'll see whether they force. I can't fetch right now because I may need to force to protect Yorion. Okay, I'm getting the spinner. I should have attacked first so I could get the trigger. I think we'll see whether it may not let me cast it, which is good actually, because I want to attack and get a ring trigger first before I attack. Okay, so I'm going to go to combat first. I'm going to attack with both of these. If Yorion gets countered, I force back, and if they have something to stop it, that's catastrophic. Okay, second force I don't think matters. We're so low on life. They're going to take 4. All right, here's our Yorion. I just want to show you what this deck can do, even though we're definitely not going to win based on time. Okay, so what we're going to do is the trigger happens. They could stifle the thing, which will force. So everything comes back. Okay, so Overlord, trigger, doesn't really matter. I'm going to hit this, and then I'll just get a Solitude to kill this. Okay, I'm getting the spinner. Hopefully MTGO lets us finish what we're trying to do. Now we're going to go get a Solitude. We're going to take out this. MTGO's giving me the spinner again. Come on, let me do my Timmy thing. I'll use the ability. We get a Solitude. With the Overlord on the stack, I am going to go ahead and cast this, pitching Felia. You could argue that I should pitch Samwise, but like Samwise is very close to leveling all the way up. Okay. And we'll just do this. This is going to hit this. And then this dies. And then we're guaranteed to be able to pick Solitude up from the Overlord trigger. Got it back. Do we want to use it again? Don't think so. Our opponent is almost certainly dead here, unless they have something incredible. But they know that, and okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to block with my 5/5. If they flip it over and it's Oculus, that's unfortunate. Okay, Flicker Wisp, triggers. That comes back. Do they have a way to save it? I could just... okay, they don't. I think they're dead. All right, and we are going to be able to get a lethal attack in here, I believe. Let's go ahead and go to combat. We'll see how they block, and what we can do is we can Samwise to get the extra 3 damage if we need to. Sure, we'll get back a Strix, I guess. All right, and I'm just going to do this to get some extra damage here. We'll put it on this creature since this got through. That should deal the extra 3 damage we need to ensure that they die. Because the ring deals 3 damage. Boom, Exacxes. So I'll wish my opponent good games, and I will just concede. How do I concede the entire match? I'll just wait until... No, we have to concede the match somehow. Okay, I'll figure it out. But I'll see you in round 2. I hope you enjoyed that display of how the deck works and stuff, even though we're not going to be able to get to the final game. Right, round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent. On the play, revealing our Yorion. This feels like a really good hand. It's got Force, has Overlord into Flicker Wisp if we play our lands right. Let's keep this. They're mulling to 6. I am going to start with Undercity Sewers here, just to get it out of the way. Next turn, we can either Strix or we can Overlord. Probably Overlord just to... Oh, no, Eldrazi. Overlord's fine against Eldrazi. Hopefully it'll take us to a creature we can play as a land. That would be great. That's definitely staying on top. All right. So we just need a Force action. We can Overlord, then we can Flicker Wisp, and we should have the biggest beater on the board. Pedal. One thing I'll say about this deck that we're playing right now, Chalice is not a thing. It doesn't really matter. It starts off 12 cards on our 80-card deck. Or actually, 16, because Tamio. Okay, Wasteland. They are wasting. All right, we're drawing a land. We can use this to get another Surveil trigger. Hopefully find another land. They revealed Eldrazi Temple off once upon a time, by the way. So that's played out. Fleshraker. We don't have an easy answer to this. I think I'm just going to force it. As good as Strix is, you know, we already have a turn 2 play. So now I'm going to go get the Archive. And next we're going to get Underground Sea. We don't have the luxury of playing on basics here. Felia also flips, and it does it regardless of whether we have the mana. I think we put it into our graveyard because we can just get it back. Because I do want to rip a land here if we can rip one. Okay, Vial is great. Unfortunately, we can't both Vial and Overlord. I do want to go ahead and Overlord here to keep up momentum. Hopefully that doesn't cost us. Gonna go get our Underground Sea. Yeah, I mean, that basically means that Vial's not going to do anything here, unfortunately. But if they waste us, then we do have something we can cast on our 1 mana. Let's use our ability. Let's get a Felia back. So it's good that we had the Felia in there because we would have whiffed, actually, on Overlord. Which is unlikely when you're playing like virtually every card in our deck. I think it's like 35 or so creatures. So it's extremely unlikely to whiff. Okay, Thought Nasir is fine. They can't, like if they take Felia, then we still have Flicker Wisp. If they even realize the interaction here, this is not like a super common interaction. I guess if you play a whole bunch of Legacy, you'd be familiar with it. But if you read Overlord, you might realize, oh, okay, these can flip it. Okay, and they did take Flicker Wisp, but they didn't take Felia. So Felia would crash into Thought Nasir here. Solitude is great. I'm going to just wait, and I can Felia. And I have Solitude up if I absolutely need to. If they attack, that's fine. I'll just take it. I don't want to use my Solitude on this Thought-Knot Seer if we can avoid it, because they might have something more consequential. I'm just going to take this. All right, and we're going to go ahead and play this out. Hope that they don't have like a Dismember or... they actually have the mana of the K command here, sadly. So they could just K command now. If they K command, our only hope is drawing white for... Oh, we don't have the Flicker Wisp anymore. Yeah, that's devastating. Okay, well, we lost that. They created some spawns. That probably means they have Devour Destiny or something. Okay. We can recruit her for... We can't recruit her for Flicker Wisp because it's in exile. I do want to recruit her for something just for forward momentum. I feel like this Vial is just... It's going to be too slow with the amount of pressure they're presenting. I'm going to get another Tundra here. White is the more important of the two colors. I'm just trying to decide what we tutor for. We can tutor for a Strix, which is pretty weak, but it does trade favorably. I think we have to get the Harbinger. If we're going to get the Harbinger, we should go ahead and get a Plains here. We're not actually really locking them out of anything, unfortunately, because they have these. Oh, and we're not going to be able to Solitude, so we're going to take 4, and then they can probably just survive with just these spawn tokens, even if they don't have access to their normal mana. They did not make a land drop last turn. Yeah, I think I'm going to get Plains, and then I'm going to go ahead and go for Harbinger. I think it's the most impactful thing we can do. Then, if we do draw another white card, then we can Solitude this. And we just have to buy time for our Overlord to hit the table, and then we should be okay. But if they do have something where they can exile this, that's really bad. We still got 2 more turns. We're not dead on board before this arrives. Because this arrives 2 turns from now. Let's see. At the beginning of your end step, remove a time counter. If you cast a spell for it, okay. Until the last is removed. So when we remove the last one 2 turns from now, then we will have the Overlord in play. Okay, so we're just going to take this. It's a dangerous game. This is Devour. Yep, that's brutal. Okay, so here's what we have to do. We have to draw a white card right now. That doesn't work. We can Yorion and then pitch cast Yorion, but that's so slow, and that leaves us getting hit for 8. I don't think we have an option here. I am going to go ahead and play this out. Yeah, this sucks. We're going to go ahead and get a swamp, I guess, since we're about to make all our stuff blue. I do believe that this is the correct play here, because otherwise we're dead. Let's see. We hit this. We get Yorion. And we're so close to just Yorioning. But if we chump for a turn, it's possible we draw a land. We could just Yorion. No, I'm gonna just have to Yorion here. I feel like this is correct. Then we have to figure out another way to deal with this. We have a chumper for 1 turn. Let's grab it. I'm just going to go ahead and Solitude. I am going to hit the Thought-Knot Seer because we get a card. I'm not sure that I played this game correctly. So we get our card. Okay, it is a land. There is a very small chance that we draw something relevant next turn. But we're going to be chumping this. And if they have another, impactful card, we just lose. We have to hope that their hand is like Mox or Lotus Petals and stuff. If they have another K command, they could just remove this and hit us down to 1. This was the right card to get if they didn't have Devour. But because they had Devour and they could kill our Overlord, that was very substantial. All right. Pretty dead here. Immediately drawing off the One Ring. Eye of Ugin, terrifying. Fleshraker. Okay, yeah, we're just going to die to this Fleshraker. I don't think this is really worth playing it out. I'm just going to concede because there's no way, like this Fleshraker can burn us out with all the cards they're going to draw. All right. So we do have 4 consigns that we can bring in. 1, 2, 3, 4. In terms of cards we're taking out, we always take out Lavinia. I think we could probably take out Bowmaster. It's only good against the One Ring. And Hull Breacher is better, and Hull Breacher pitches the force. I'd much rather go fetch. Orcish Spellmasters doesn't hit anything in their deck. We're not going to win through aggression. We're going to win through control. I think taking a couple Tomios out is fine. All right, we're going to reveal Yorion. Now we have the knowledge of what they're on. This hand is Samwise can Wastelock. We have the mana to do it. Let's see if we can do that. That would be phenomenal. So the way that I'm going to do this, we need basically 3 mana to pull this off. So we probably want to get basics here, like a basic island, basic plains. And then we can do the first wasteland. We waste, then we Samwise to get the waste back. Then we can Karakas. That turn we can bounce him back, and then we can waste and then cast him again. Okay, my opponent just scooped. After rolling to 6, that's aggressive. Okay, wow, they just scooped the match. Well, that was definitely not a result of us playing well. It shows 1-1 here, but we did win that one, right? Like they scooped the match? Okay. Yeah, I think that it's kind of wonky the way it displays the match. Because technically, if you looked at this, it would look like we were tied, but I'm pretty sure we do actually get the win when they scoop completely. All right, see you in round 3. All right, we're up against the legendary winner of Eternal Weekend Europe, Larson, who is a super chill, I believe, Swede, who he's just like the best breakfast player on earth, basically. And yeah, he did win Eternal Weekend with Nadu Breakfast. He has not been playing Nadu Breakfast. I believe he's been playing like Delver or something like that. I can't remember what he's been playing, but I'm excited to see what he's on. And excited to face the world champion. Like they're technically 3 world champions. He's the European champion. They never have all 3 of the champions face off because it would be expensive to fly everybody to the same city. All right. We're going to reveal our Yorion here. This is fine. This hand is not bad. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. On the draw, I mean, we have Force if they're on like some crazy combo deck. Strix is really good against Murktide if they are on Delver. We can fetch basics here. Okay, Island start. That is a Felia start. If we choose to start with the Marsh Flats, we're almost certainly just going to fetch basics here, depending on what they're on. If they're on Breakfast, we don't have to fetch basics. But this tells them, oh, maybe they're just on a normal, Death and Taxes deck, right? Because it's this is more like Esper Vial. They should probably assume we're on Death and Taxes, but hey, it's Be Excellent. When has Be Excellent ever played a deck that doesn't have Brainstorm and Force of Will in it? And the answer is I haven't in many years because of all the combo decks everywhere. Yeah, okay, Brainstorm. The conservative thing to do, I mean, we could just play on basics if they're on Delver, but that does make us look pretty dumb if they're on Breakfast and we don't have the mana to cast what we need to cast. I think I have a path to all 3 basics. So I'm just going to do this. They're fetching. Okay, they may very well have a Stifle here. And if they Stifle, I'm just going to let it happen. Yep, they're on Dreadnought. Yeah, I'm going to let it happen. Now I'm going to aggressively fetch my basics. Okay, great. We ripped another one. So I think the first play is just, sadly, just go get a Plains. And that hides the fact that we're on a deck that can do anything about this. And then next turn we can get... Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. We don't have the option of Strixing if we do that. But I'm more interested in Overlording. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. Just respect the fact that they have Stifle on their deck. I imagine they have 4. Now, they most likely just think we are Death and Taxes. Okay, Brainstorming again. All right. Oculus is a good card to rip because it hits pretty hard. I think we just go ahead and get the... I'm going to wait. There's no reason. Like, they're not tapped out or anything. I'll go get either a Swamp or an Island. But I don't want to play in the Daze because they almost certainly have Daze here. Okay, they're surveilling. They have the luxury of doing that because they are safe from our Stifles because Death and Taxes doesn't play Stifle. Wink, wink. Well, neither do we. Okay, pondering. They're getting lots of cantrips. Like that Oculus is going to hit hard. All right, this is great. That's precisely what we needed. All right. I think the simple thing to do is just Overlord here. Just go get a swamp. See if they stifle this. They do. Well, that means we can't get a swamp. We can just play Disciplined and make another land drop and then go for something. Yeah, I think that's the play. I mean, they could have all three, or three of their four stifles. That would be unfortunate. We did draw a lot of land though, so they've got 2 stifles floating around and 40 cards. Still not making any moves. Daze is almost certainly a 4 of in their deck. At this point, it may make sense to just wait in Felia, but they do have Plow. Overlord won't necessarily hit anything here. We can't get the basic swamp. I think I'm going to wait. We're getting to them having Hardcast Force up, which is kind of scary. They don't have a second Surveil, do they? That would be crazy. Volk. Okay, I think they're playing just like Jeskai, Dreadnought. They do have Hardcast Force up. If they tap out for Hardcast Force, we can punish. They could daze us, stifle us here. I've already shown my colors. I'm going to go ahead and get an Underground Sea here. Let's see what they do about this. I did that because I don't want them to daze and stifle. That would be an embarrassing way to die. Okay, I think they're going to go for the Hardcast Force here. All right, well, I'm going to force back. We're going down a card. I think it's fine. They can force back. Okay, she's in. This is great. Okay, now we might be able to get the Overlord combo going. I'm going to go for it. Black, white, Overlord of Balemurk. I'm going to pay for it. Do you want to daze the second time? They have a second daze. Okay, they had the second daze. Not anything we could have done about that, really. Hit, and we'll pass. All right, and we still got lots of things to do. I mean, Oculus is online, but daze is a thing, as we saw. They did double daze, but that doesn't mean they don't have a third one. It's unlikely that they have a third one, but it's not like impossible for them to have a third one. They plow here. That's unfortunate. That is kind of unfortunate, but it's okay. It's a 1-for-1. All right. If we draw a land, I will Abhorrent Oculus, but I'll probably just Strix here. Strix will hopefully find a land. Okay, I'm just going to Oculus. It's certainly possible that they have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. This is good. Okay, and they just scooped to that. Wow. Okay, great. Yeah, I didn't expect to win that game. First of all, we're playing against one of the best players in the world, but also because it just felt like we just got so lucky drawing those lands. Okay, so against Dreadnought, I think what we did round 1, we faced Dreadnought, so I think we brought in 2 consigns. We take out Harbinger, we take out Lavinia. Lavinia is really only good against combo. I think that's it. Everything else is pretty good. Like, I think this is a favorable matchup. The unfavorable part is the clock. And round 1, the reason we lost was, first of all, we couldn't close game 1. And then we didn't have time to do game 3. Game 1 of that first one was pretty close. And it could have gone either way, in my humble opinion. But it obviously, didn't go our way. Okay. So this is a hand that does have lots of disruption. It has a turn 1 Vial. I'm going to snap keep this. I think I'm going to do some more fetch land footsie. Because I don't want Vial to get... I think it's okay. This matchup actually goes a lot of turns usually. Usually they do not have like some easy early win con. Even if they do, we do have Solitude to deal with a resolved Phyrexian Dreadnought, which is the main way they win. I just think it would be a mistake to yeet a Vial into a daze. So I think I'm going to just play these out. And we're going to fetch basics again. Hopefully they go for a turn 1 Ponder or something like that. So that way we can have a clear path. I guess if they do, I will Vial. Because that'll mean they're dazing to stop the Vial, which means that we will have consign on time to stop some of the more... I mean, like the thing about Consign is it's not great if they're just playing the Phyrexian Dreadnought. It is great if they're playing Null Drifter. And some of these decks do play Null Drifter. Okay, they're just passing. So when you're playing an opponent against an opponent who likely has Stifle, the best thing you can do is just park a land on the table and don't do anything. Just leave it there and you're kind of rishing on porting them. They may go ahead and go get their Surveil here. Okay, so this is a window for us to go ahead and get an island. I think I'm going to take it. I don't really want to get stifled. I do want to be able to develop at least an island. And next turn, I would love to develop a plains too, if they give me the opportunity. Blue and white are by far the most important colors in this deck. So us being able to cultivate black is secondary. We don't have any black in our hand. We'll have other opportunities to do it. But like they play 4 Wasteland. I don't want to expose our Tundra to Wasteland early on. They're brainstorming mid phase. All right, Tamiyo. Again, lots of things we can do in our deck to stop that if we need to. This is the window for resolving Vial. They could just end a Vial, which would suck. We've got Solitude to pitch to Solitude. I am going to go ahead and just get a plains here. I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to be very risk averse. I mean, there was certainly an opportunity for me to just waste them there. Waste them off the white because they don't really use red. Maybe that actually was the play because let's say I waste that, then they won't have prismatic ending for this, but they may have prismatic ending for this. I don't know how many endings they play. It's a 1-for-1. Ponder. They're pondering off their blue mana, or their white producing land. I don't think this is going to be a big deal. They may have Pyro in for Abhorrent Oculus. Okay, they do have a second one, so now I'm going to have to waste them off red instead. All right, and they can just crack this and immediately flip her. I think... Gosh, do I Solitude here? Curie. That is not a creature that I can kill. Yeah, I'm just going to hold up Solitude. Because, I mean, they may have Force, but, like, Solitude is free. They may not expect it. By cutting them off this land, we are making it marginally harder for them to do the Curie combo. So what we can do is we can attempt to consign the Phyrexian Dreadnought if they put it on the stack. I think I do want to Solitude this because this is going to start drawing them cards. They're forcing. Okay, they immediately recoup the card. That is a big blow to our game plan because now they can draw and they can also flip. This is a brainstorm. This is going to flip the Tamiyo. I mean, normally Oculus is not a big deal because she's super easy to block. And it says it on the card. I should probably start referring to it as it becomes. But like Madame Curie, of course, the namesake of the card was a woman. Yeah, we can't really do anything here. Always yield. Yes. All right, let's see what we can rip. Another Solitude. Not the worst. I think that we have a very limited window here. If we throw this Abhorrent Oculus, I mean, if they don't have the card, it's quite good. But there's a high likelihood they have days. I'm going to try for it. I'm going to go ahead and fetch a see if they burn like a daze here. Or a stifle here. Oh, we don't quite have enough mana. Oh, wait. No, we don't have enough. We don't have enough. I'm just going to put Oculus, our Yorion into our hand. Next turn, we do have Oculus uncounterably. But there's a lot of bad stuff that's going to happen between now and then. Wasting may not have been consequential, and that having that extra mana might have been nice. I think I'm tapped out. Just Daze is just too big of a risk here. If I hold on to the Solitude, I can potentially blow them out and also not get slaughtered by a Daze. They get a card. They've got 6 cards in their grip. They've got more clues to crack. This is like a pretty hopeless... Like, I wouldn't still be playing if they hadn't conceded so quickly previously. They buy back a Brainstorm. They've got momentum. 7 cards in the grip. Drawing an extra card every turn. Tamiyo on the table. It's not a good feel. Okay, I thought I said, yeah. Okay, I have to put that on the stack anyway, I guess, even if I'm yielding to it. Yes, let's use it. Okay, plow. So options. One, we could just plow here. Get this off the table. I don't dislike that too severely. Maybe they burn like a... Yeah, let's just try that. If they try to defend this, this tells me they probably have a Dreadnought in hand and they're going to try to do the Dreadnought trick. They didn't play a land last turn. Wow, they're forcing that? Okay, deal. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and put this out. I don't think there's any reason to wait. And now we go to end step. They very well could have a plow of their own. They've got 7 cards in their grip. If they do, we just lose that. There's nothing we can do. Yeah. So we're 2 draw steps away from being able to just file this in, uncounterably target like one of their creatures. I would love for them to burn a... Gosh, we can't do it. We're giving them another card. I think we do give them another card. As sad as it is, like I just think we lose too much if we pitch this action. Cracking a clue. Yeah, they're so far ahead on cards. They're 37 cards into their deck. We're 15 into ours. It's dramatic. So they're 23. So they've like vastly outdrawn us. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and level this up just to get closer to our 2 big creatures. I mean, if there's any comfort, it's that our opponent hasn't done anything to disrupt what we're doing. I should have done that with this Tundra in case they have Wasteland, because then I won't be able to consign. So like Tamio, like just to show you how weak Curie is, a single Tamio can block her. If Tamio, now they have to remove this. If they have a Wasteland, they should just waste this, and that's what they're going to do because they're a good player and I'm a bad player because I freaking tapped out of blue by opening myself to this. Oh. Well, I am going to just cast this with Replicate. I'm going to prevent it from coming in. They've already played their land for turn. Replicate twice. Yeah, so if they play a second one, it doesn't matter because they're not going to be able to immediately use it. So this actually was a consequential card to board in. I mean, they have so much stuff they can do. It's important to note that they don't have a prismatic ending in their graveyard for Vial. And so I am going to start being able to do good stuff here. This is fine. They are going to be able to draw here. I am going to attempt to Vial and see if I can beta Stifle. I should technically have been doing this every single turn because of the nature of their deck. Like they have Stifle in it. Okay, they're getting closer to their ultimate. All right, I baited them. It didn't work. We got very lucky that they didn't use one of their other color lands. They could have easily just used that as one of their... Okay, so here's my thinking. We can Solitude here, kill this, and then we can have Yorion on demand. I'm going to wait. I want to be able to Solitude this turn and next turn Yorion. If they have Consign in their hand for some reason, they can consign the Solitude Exile trigger. We'll still have a creature that can attack Tamio to keep her loyalty at 5 next turn. It's just improbable that they wouldn't have Daze on the play. They haven't used a single Daze yet. They're more than halfway into their deck. So we have to play around Daze for one more turn. They may start wasting us, which means we'll have to play around Daze for a lot longer. But we might not actually be playing this game much longer if Tamio ultimates. I have a policy of just scooping when Tamio ultimates. I've never won a game where Tamio has ultimate on my opponent's side unless I have lethal pressure on the table. All right, and if our opponent stifles this, we can Hail Mary attempt to cast Solitude. That is fine. Okay, and now I'm just going to attempt to do this. Do you have the ability to stop this? What a freaking blowout. Holy cow, that was incredible. That was incredible. I'm so glad I caught this on tape. Like, this player is insanely good. They must have just not had that, or they just didn't see that as a line. I don't know. Buying back Plow. Yeah. So if we draw any value creature, we can play it and then we can Yorion and we'll start getting some value. But this Solitude is going to bite the dust here. All right, but we did stave off Tommy Armageddon. And we can set this to always no. So we shouldn't have to do no anymore. So we can save a little clock there. Oh, yes! This is precisely what I was hoping we'd see. Strix! Draw trigger. Give me another value creature. Give me another one. They know I have a Yorion in hand and that this represents 2 cards. Yes, they're forcing. All right. I can just end step this to avoid, I don't know what they could have. Yeah, I guess I'll just end step. I mean, it sucks that we're not going to get any value from it, but it is a free card, like it's the 8th card in our hand. They've drawn so many cards. The fact that we're in this game at all is a miracle. They're plussing. Cracking a clue. All right, let's see if they stifle this or if they just plow it. Either one is fine. They're wasting here. I'll wait. They know it's in our hand. There's no point in doing this. No point in me floating is what I'm saying. It's perfectly legit to like waste us here. Okay, and so I'm just going to attempt to use this. Yes. Yorion on an empty table. You got a plow. You can buy it back next turn. They did buy back a plow last turn, but they immediately used it, which makes me think they don't have another plow, but they do. All right. So we're in top deck mode. We've got a lot of live draws. Let's see one. Samwise, not spectacular. Oh, what happened? I said always no. I guess I just screwed that up so badly. I think we've lost this. I'm going to concede. I want to make sure we have plenty of time in case the last one's long. Yeah, I didn't mean to somehow tick that up. Okay, so Consign was good there. I don't think we bring any more in, though. It's worth noting that Witch Enchanter kills both Curie and Phyrexian Dreadnought. Is pretty good against their deck. Flicker Wisp, Flicker It. Both are susceptible to Skyclave. We've got a lot of options here. Run it back. Yeah, I need to work on my my trigger game so I can be faster and not make mistakes like accidentally putting Vial on 6 when we have a ton of 5-drops in our deck. I mean, we weren't necessarily dead, but I think we were like very far behind. This is a basic. I mean, this hand's meh, but it's not terrible. I'll keep a land heavy hand on the play. We can potentially brainstorm some of this stuff back. I'm just going to open like this. Put them on notice. I could have opened with a Wasteland and baited a Wasteland. Maybe they open with a non-basic and I can be the Wasteland deck for a turn or two. This is usually not the right strategy, but these Wastelands don't do a lot. I guess you could argue that we could wait a turn and... Okay. Recruiter. We could play this and then we're Wasteland proof until we get Recruiter down. They put a Stifle in their graveyard. Why would they put a Stifle in their graveyard? It is a really good card. They could have redundant abilities. They could be looking for a land. I'm going to go ahead and speculatively snap this. Okay. I have no illusions that that did anything, but we'll see. Okay, Plains. That's great. That means that it did something. Overlord. We can play it. We're going to play it. This is value. They can force this, but they can't daze it now. Don't whiff. Holy cow. It's extremely unlikely that we whiff. Extremely unlikely, but we whiffed. The odds of us whiffing, I'll calculate them after this, but they're extremely low. They're not wasting us yet. Okay, they are. That's fine. All right. This kind of favors us, having this tick down. I'm going to play this out. They don't have days represented yet, so I might be able to recruit her next turn. I don't think they have anything in their deck that can stop this. They can stifle the last... No, because I don't think stifling the last removal stops anything, because it's not on the card. It's not like you cast the card. It's just no longer an enchantment. It's a creature. Or, well, technically, it becomes an enchantment creature. Okay, so now they discarded Dress Down. That is a very healthy sign. I think we just go for the Recruiter here. What card would be the most devastating to them here? I think we just get Samwise because that represents double Wasteland. I'm not sure if that's correct. I can also just wait in Felia and step. Then we have like days. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. Okay, they found a blue source. I think there's a decent chance that they have removal for Felia. Am I willing to force to protect her? I think so, because the value is going to be pretty big. I'm going to do this. I don't think they have Bolt or anything like that in their hand, but I'm leaving this up. They may plow. I will waste during the next turn. Okay, we made it to our turn. Floodstrand's a pretty good rip. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go to combat here. We're going to attack. We're going to exile this. They are dressing down. I mean, if I force here, the trigger already went on the stack, so I don't think it matters, but it does stop. Okay. Yeah, I don't think this matters. So I think I'd be a fool to force it. This is still going to come back as a creature. Okay, so we just hit for 2. We're just a generic 2/2 attacker. I can't do anything this turn. I'm just going to chill. Overlord will come back. All right, and now we get the trigger. Let's get back. Oh my goodness, we whiffed again. That's extremely unlikely. I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm dead serious that this is like, I'll calculate the exact odds of this happening. I am going to get, I sense blood in the water. I am going to go ahead and Bowmaster here. They're forcing that. They're thinking the better of it. Oh, they're forcing. You know my saying, you're forcing, I'm forcing. If it's important enough for you to force, I'm going to go for it. This will hopefully lock them out of a lot of things. It's going to put a lot of bodies on the table. They're going to be under a lot of pressure. You may argue that I should have wasted them last turn, and I would agree with that sentiment. I think it was a misplay for me to not waste them last turn. However, there's no benefit to wasting now. We should wait. This is okay. They have missed another land. We are getting incredibly, exceptionally lucky here. Vial is not what we're looking to see. I'm going to go ahead and waste this now, just because I don't want them to be able to daze it. White, blue, colorless. We're going to attempt to recruiter here, because I would like to put the recruiter into exile with Felia here. Let's use the ability. What is going to dig the deepest grave here? I think they scooped. Okay. Wow. We beat Larson. We beat the champion. Haha. Yeah. With our crazy deck. Okay. Glad I got that on video. Let's think about what I was going to get. I was probably going to get a Hull Breacher. I mean, like, Hull Breacher is just freaking insane. I don't know. We already had Bowmaster on the table. What would do the most damage? I would probably just get a Flicker Wisp, because, well, we wouldn't have the mana to cast Flicker Wisp. We can't get Oculus. We can't get Overlord. Those would be insane. We would probably just get... Yeah, I mean, I might just get a Strix just for value, because we could cast it the following turn. We could even put out Vial and Strix every turn if we needed to. Felia was clutch there, but you know what was really clutch was my opponent just getting completely mana screwed. We had a lot of help on that one from the RNG Overlords. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to show you the probability real quick. All right, so here's our deck. We have 35 creatures and 80 cards, 4 of which are Overlord, 2 of which were sideboarded out. So we had 29 creatures at that point. 29 creatures, and I don't know how many cards we've drawn out of our deck, so this isn't going to be super duper exact, but let's go do the math. All right. So 80 card pile, sample size of 4 when we mill 4, 29 hits, which are the creatures minus the 2 that we'd sideboarded out, minus the, what's his name, the Overlord. And you could say technically, like, I think we had like 1 or 2 creatures in hand. But let's go ahead and do this like math ways first. So chance of drawing 1 or more of the wanted card at that point with 29. And again, this is assuming 80 cards total. So actually, at that point in the game, we probably only had like 70 cards in deck. But we'll do this 84 number, but I'm just to silence the dissenters. Okay, here. So we do maybe like something like that, right? Like maybe we drawn 2. It would actually be like slightly higher probably at that point. But let's go back to what our original calculation was, which is 80 cards and 29. So the odds of us not hitting one here, 15.8%. So if you take 0.158 squared, there's a 2.5% chance total that we would have 2 back-to-back whiffs. So having one whiff is unlikely. It's not improbable. It's like 15%, like basically 1 in 8. But having 2 back-to-back, extremely unlucky that we didn't get anything off either of those flips. So I just want to reassure people that are like, oh man, that combo sucks. Like we get the tail end of variance. It does happen. It doesn't happen a lot. Like you are, during a normal game with the population of cards we have and everything, you can expect to get a card, 7/8 of the time, basically. Yeah, 85%, 87%. So yeah, nearly 7/8 of the time. Okay, so let's jump back to the games. But I like to explain those kinds of things because a lot of people are capricious and they don't think about Magic the Gathering in terms of numbers, but it's all numbers. It's all hypergeometric distributions. And like the reason it's that specific combination, that's how it is in like all kind of gambling type or any sort of like variance heavy thing is like, it's just this specific kind of formula that you can use for everything. Extremely flexible. You can't do it in your head. You can certainly like, it's easy to like graph out what it's doing and write it and stuff, but it is hard to do those kinds of calculations in your head. So what you need to do is rely on heuristics. And I'm giving you a heuristic right now. You are usually going to hit off of Overlord if you have, 31 other non-Overlord creatures in your deck. See you in round 2 or round 4 rather. All right. We're up against my friend from Montreal, MTG The Source OG. If you've ever been to MTG The Source, it's a cool old forum. This is I am technically using the all access token, so this will throw him off. Oh, maybe he's playing, Eldrazi or something he would never buy the cards for. Okay, so we're on the draw against an unknown opponent, usually a tempo player, usually playing like 3-color builds. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. We do have an island. It's hard to get. There's a high likelihood that we're going to get wasted. It's chill. We've got Vial. I think I'm probably going to just, depending on what they play here, I might just go Vial right off the bat. But our opponent is no fool. They're probably going to kill it. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. So Quirios is also using the all access pass, so they could be on anything. Okay, Archive. Frequently on Esper strategies. We had a good time at Eternal Weekend North America talking about strategies. They were Frog aficionados, as was I, before Frog met an untimely end. It was a very timely end. Okay, so this, I'm just going to always yield. And I am going to use the ability this time. Okay, Tundra. I mean, we don't have a lot going on. I don't think we're going to... I think we just get this out of the way. I mean, technically time walking favors us, but I'll feel pretty dumb if I wasteland them and then they put... Yeah, because, I mean, we are kind of time walking them, so to speak. We have plenty of land. I think I'm just going to waste during their upkeep. I am worried that they'll Prismatic End, but they're not going to be doing that during my upkeep. They may have to fetch a Surveil land before then, so we have better information about what land to waste. But my general philosophy is if an opponent is playing white, waste white. That's the removal color. That's how they stop you. That's how they slow you down. White is an incredibly powerful card when color. It's probably the greatest splash color of all the splash colors. This could get stifled. That is a possibility. If that happens, I just let it happen. It's a 1-for-1. Okay, I will protect Vial at all costs. I will force to protect Vial. Okay, they have another land. So they're on a Jeskai strategy. Which, if they're on like a Jeskai control strategy, we can out Apex them. Overlord. We don't have black. I think I'm just going to drop this. That is an above average draw. We do have the Brainstorm to flip her. However, yeah, I think I'll keep her. She pitches the Force. We've got double Brainstorm to protect her and flip her. If our opponent has like a slow start to their draw to their game, then which they seem to have. Okay, there's a Wasteland. That's fine. Again, they are letting us time walk them basically every turn with this Vial. That's the strength of Vial. You put it on the table and it just continues to generate value. All right, I think we just play this out. I'm tempted to go ahead. What can we get here? I think I'm just going to wait. I could float this out there. I don't have a way to protect her. Maybe that's okay. Maybe we overload the removal. Yeah, not being able to protect her is a bummer, but it's still a 1-for-1 if they go after her. And I'm about to 2-for-1 them a whole lot. That's fine. If they waste me, I'll just go grab a land here. I think actually I am going to go grab Bogart Trawler. I think they're likely on the same deck that the previous player was on, which is Stiflenought. I think, yeah, Bogart Trawler, and then we shock it in, and then we have Overlord. And then we're working toward Yorion the following turn. I like that. Okay, there's the swamp, so we don't actually have to use the Bogart Trawler. I don't know if they have any sort of instant speed interaction here, but I'm not going to attack. I don't think that matters. What matters is getting Overlord out, and then next turn, Yorioning. This is a force. I think it's okay to force back. This is going to generate us immediate value, and then it's going to generate a ton of value if Yorion makes it out. I would love to flip. Okay, Skyclave's fine. Flexible tool. Our opponent's under the gun here. They have to do something big. Waste would be good. But they don't realize that we're just going to be able to play the Trawler anyway. All right, I'm going to play the land here just in case I need it for some reason. I'm going to go ahead and do this. We're going to get our Yorion. Now, there is a very nasty play that they could do here. They could stifle these coming back. I'm aware of that, and I'm calling it. It'll be epic if they do that. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be daunted. They can also consign. Our only recourse if this happens, by the way, is okay. That's fine. I would still like to exile this. I'll have value for 500, Alex. RIP. Alex Trebek, the greatest game show host ever. Don't know why I just mentioned him. All right, we got a Solitude. We also got a Felia. Felia is pretty sick here. I actually think Felia is better because we can just Skyclave their thing. It's any non-land, non-token permanent. So we can just Skyclave Tommy if she flips. Got so much game here. They're about to take 9. Maybe I should have grabbed the Solitude, actually, because I already had the Vial active. So they can block, and then they can use the trigger. How do I set it to always know? Always know from triggered ability. Harbinger is pretty nasty here. I can do that, and then I can just play this out as a regular land that taps for mana. I'm doing that. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Just force their interaction. I don't even have to take a damage from the Bogart Trawler. Okay, let's go ahead and attack. I would like to get that Solitude back. We can grab it. I don't want a Solitude yet. I want to see what they do. Wait, they can't do anything. They've got mountains. They're just going to block and not do it. Well, never mind. They've got islands. Sorry, Harbinger. Okay. Okay, they're just taking a ton of damage. Deal. I think it's very likely that they have days at this point. I think this is fine. This does give them colored mana again. Dreadnought's fine. I can just exile it. Second Dreadnought is also exilable. Let's go ahead and wait for this to wear off, and then I'll just Solitude one of them. Congrats on your 12 life that you just gained, Quirios. And I think I am going to attempt to do this, and if they daze it, it's okay. It's in. All right. Well, this game just got a lot easier. Okay. So we have to go ahead and blink this when we attack with everything, which we are going to do. Not going to be a coward. Now this will target this. And then the trigger, we get another Solitude back. Sure. Do you have anything to say about this? Yep, that's blinked. You're taking near lethal. We just drew a very nasty card, Hull Breacher, which I very much hope to use. You can have this back. You don't have a way to stop it from dying. You're at 4 life, and I have an ever-growing army. Mwahaha. This guy's my friend, by the way. He's beaten me many times, too. So I don't want you to think that I'm like punching down or anything. Okay, so I think this is a fine moment to just go ahead and... Yeah, and it's too late for them to do anything here. They can gain 0 life. We've just got this so in the bag, it's not even funny. I don't need to show them I'm playing Hull Breacher. I think I'll maintain the surprise. Value, glorious value. I don't think there's anything that they can do here. I think they're just playing to witness the sheer value and run our clock down. They have run me out of time before. I'm not going to use the ability. Win. Did take us about another 30 seconds to win there. Okay, cool. So they're on just straight up Stiflenought, which is a good deck. If you like Stiflenought, you can watch me play it on the channel. It's a very fun deck to play. I love stifling people. So we're just going to do exactly what we did previously. We're going to take out Harbinger. They're going to play around it. And we're going to take out Lavinia. Again, only good against combo decks. Now, an astute viewer may be aware that like I own all these cards. I've played all these cards on the channel. There's only one card that I haven't played on the channel without having people loan it to me. Shout out to Lifting Weights on MTGO. Jorge Chica let me borrow his Abhorrent Oculuses, which are currently like 70 tickets or something ridiculous. So Quirios may be wondering, I thought he said he was using the All Access Pass. What is he borrowing? These are all stock cards he's played on the channel a million times. So it'll be fun to imagine the facial expression of him, because we'll just have to imagine. He's like a long-haired dude. I'm trying to think of how to describe him. Like, if you've ever seen The Princess Bride, maybe something like that. All right. All right. This is good. I think this is a keep. We have no interaction other than Witch Enchanter, but Witch Enchanter does kill a Resolve Phyrexian Dreadnought, and it also kills a Curie. All right, our opponent is just opening with his Trevelyan. That's fine. That is legal. Do some interaction. I think I am going to probably just surveil here. We could just go get basics, and maybe by getting basics, we'll spook them. I think it's highly likely that they stifle, and I want them to stifle. Curie. She's annoying, but I mean, we could just force her and not have to worry about her. We're so far from using this Abhorrent Oculus. Yeah, this is a rare moment where I think she's forcible. Okay. Worked. I don't want to be tempoed out. Like, I need to work up toward these cards. So I'm just going to take a natural draw here. Then I'll probably get the island and the plains. We don't have to do that right now. We can just hold. We're getting the spinner, unfortunately, in our very click-intensive slow deck, piloted by the slowest player on MTGO. Okay, so I think this is actually a window where we can Felia during their main phase. That way we don't have to worry about them stifling us. And then if they daze, it's okay, because it sets them back a lot to daze this. So I'm going to go ahead and get the island, and then I'll get the plains. And I am just going to go ahead and play her out. Since we have a second one, it's fine. They apply this one. We don't actually have anything to do with her anyway. I would love for them to freak out and daze this or force it. But if they had force, they should have fought back against our force on Curie, because Curie is a good card. She is like a Norphidian. She's not likely to connect often against our deck. Yeah, maybe I should have just played this out and then forced the removal spell. But I guess I overestimated the likelihood of them dazing, considering, do you see how my cursor gets really big when I wiggle it? Wee, that's a Mac thing. That's how you know I'm playing on a Mac. Wee, giant cursor. Okay, sorry. I'm just having fun. Okay. All right, so now it's possible they just go fetch, plow, whatnot. All right, I would love to rip, yeah, more of those is fine, I guess. Not really what I want to see. We could bait out a wasteland. I think it's fine. I'm just going to keep stockpiling mana. I don't have to fetch a swamp. I could fetch a Surveillant here. Fun fact, there's no done hotkey. You actually have to move over and click. I'm a software engineer. I can't stand using my mouse. I love just using keyboards for everything. Keyboard shortcut connoisseur. So this is kind of like Rishadan porting them, like if they want to stifle it. If they tap out a Wasteland, then I probably will go ahead and just Surveil. This is a 4-mana play. We really need the land if we want to be able to play around the dazes that they almost certainly have on the play. That's fine. Well, guess what? She's got a friend. Friend with the exact same name. That's right, the same legendary dog. Oh, man, that's so good. All right. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play this out because I don't care if this gets wasted. And I'm just going to play this out. And this is going to be absolutely devastating if our opponent can't stop it. Okay, this is where the devastation begins. All right, we did not whiff. We indeed got a Baleful Strix, which is great. I can go ahead and cast it out, but there's no way that I'm going to use it when I could just blink the Overlord itself. This combo is insane, by the way. Absolutely disgusting combo. I mean, it's a fair combo. Nobody's going to be crying about this being like, this needs to be banned. This card's ridiculous. It's just like a great combo. Like if you transported this combo back to like pre-modern or something, it would just be the dominant archetype. Everybody would just be playing it. This is like pure fire design. I think I am going to take advantage of tempo and press my advantage here. And I am going to get a swamp and I am going to Strix. And they can daze it if they'd like. All right. We have got a board. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got a big board. Use the ability. Let's get back a... Bogart Trawler does stop them from being able to use their graveyard, huh? If they do have that card that everybody is playing now. But I'll get the Tamio. Yeah, maybe that was a misplay. But this pitches the force. Bogart Trawler doesn't... It doesn't feel like an impactful card to play here. Every time this attacks, there's a decent chance that we flip a Solitude. Brainstorming here. No Hull Breacher to punish. Remember last game when I withheld showing my Hull Breacher? I would love for Hull Breacher to be like a defining card in this matchup. Like for him to come out and just completely wreck my opponent's hand and create a bunch of treasure, which we can very easily afford to spend. We've got plenty of things to spend mana on here. Okay, more wastes. I don't think they can afford to go after us. This is fine. This is like a 3-for-1 basically at this point. We can just, yeah, that's fine. We can just blink the Strix itself. Get cards that way. Another Tamio. I think I'm just going to attack here. I can just blink this. There's no point in attacking with it because we're blinking it. They'll take 3. I am going to play out the Tamio. And we're going to get a little bit of a bonus here when this comes back into play. Draw trigger. Force. That's great. Yeah. Feeling favored. Ending on our poor doggo. She was a good girl. Just going to do this. I will force to protect my lady. They are going to do the daze trick. That's unfortunate. I think it's fine to force here. I do want her in play. Our opponent is down to 4 cards, one of which is a land. Okay. Now we get the fetch. Let's go get Undercity. Let's get Archive. We are a lot more white intensive of a deck. This is great. I'll just put that right on top. Okay, she's in. Our opponent has 1 land in play. This is just a total devastation. So Tamio will flip in the end step. I can flip her. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'll create the clue. I'll crack the clue. Okay, and then this is going to just exile this. Okay. So I'm going to actually flip her before the end step so I can plus her. So what we're going to do is we're going to go like this. Strix. Draw trigger. Now we can just eat this. Now she flips. We can plus and we can play a land. Since one of the cards we drew were land. Feeling good. Draw. Just running away with the value. We can reach for Yorion anytime we want if they start doing something of consequence. Pyroclasm is certainly of consequence. Wow. Wow, I didn't see that coming. Maybe I should have expected it out of a red deck. That's a cool card. All right, Undercity Sewers. Find something good. Another Tundra. I mean, it is a land. Sure, we need land. I think at this point it's fine to rebuy like a Force. Oh, I can do this. No, it's not really that good to do that. I'm going to go ahead and just do this. Draw trigger. Brainstorm. I'm just going to rebuy a Force. Now we can play a land for turn. I'm just going to attack and do the Strix trick. Our opponent is being very patient, and I think they're letting us do this to show you all. Because Quirios is super chill dude, and I think he knows that like we're so far ahead that it's extremely unlikely that he comes back, and he's just letting us kind of like tap dance on his grave, so to speak. Getting the MTGO spinner. If we have to go to game 3, we're going to be very tight on time because I'm showboating so much. But like, there's not really a quick way for me to end this game. I am going to go ahead and Recruiter. What would be a way that I can end this game faster? Probably like Bowmaster. Gums up the board a little bit. I mean, probably just a Solitude. I can hardcast it now. We get a card draw trigger. Felly gets bigger. They're not dead on board. They've still technically got another turn to live. I drew a Wasteland, which is really good. They're pondering here. Okay. Good games, Quirios. We're going to round 4. We're actually 3-1, which is crazy. That first one, I felt like we could have had it. So, but you know, we'll see how the final round goes. But I'm having a blast. I hope you're having a blast too. We're up against Island Ponder Scoop in the final round. Island Ponder Scoop is right up there with Unique Username 3 in the Be Excellent username tier list. With a name like Island Ponder Scoop, I can only hope that they're on a blue deck. They are most likely on Reanimator. Is this a good hand against Reanimator? Not really. But what would be a good hand? Let's think about this for a second. I think what would constitute a good hand against Reanimator would be like a Force effect or something else other than this. This feels better. This at least has Plow. We can put back the redundant Felia. I think it's important to have Plow because they have Troll, and that is one way that they can win early. Plus, Vial is really strong here. So what this represents to me is they are going to go ahead and Troll cycle. So we are going to go get our blue source here. Actually, we should get a black source because Overlord is good. This will also make our opponent think we're just on a standard black-white list. Because this is a very common opening for Death and Taxes. Like, Death and Taxes has been splashing black for a while, and a lot of Death and Taxes decks do splash Overlord. But they're going to see the Tundra unless we draw a path to a basic. Yeah, here's the Troll that I said we could expect here. So our Tundra is most likely going to be one shot. They grabbed an Underground Sea. If they have a Plow or if they have a Force for a Plow, we're in serious trouble. Because Strix cannot race Troll because you need, like, it's got Mega Menace. You need 3 blockers to stop it. But I'd much rather them reanimate this than, you know, freaking... Actually, if they reanimate Archon, it's not that big a difference. Because, you know, Plow is just the same. We lose a card and everything, but it's not the end of the world if they do invest a lot of resources in trying to have a big reanimation effect instead of just reanimating, you know, a double True Name Nemesis is kind of how I think of this. It's like 2 True Names stapled together, basically. Okay, no action. That's good for us. They do have Brazen Borrower in their deck in some number. I've seen as many as 3. Land, please. All right, that's a land. We may be able to bait. Oh, you know what? They shuffled that. No, they didn't shuffle the Ponder. I'm going to be cheeky. I'm going to be a cheeky bastard And I'm just going to waste this. This could be greedy, but we have the vial. All right. And if they don't have another source, they're in trouble. But like putting a Tundra out just to get it wasted or getting this dazed is not going to feel good. If we get a turn without... Okay, they had a second one. If we get a turn without the risk of a troll hanging over our head, then that is great. Okay. This is the Animate Dead. That is okay. We can't save it off for long. We are going to be able to Strix into a potential land drop here. Okay, this is great because this means that we can potentially plow without putting our... I think this is how I want to do it. I'm just going to attempt to plow here. And if they have the force, we're going to take 5. I'd much rather put a Felia in play than a Strix. They do. Okay. There was nothing we could have drawn there, unfortunately. We're just gonna take 5 here. There's nothing we can do about it. I want to put Felia in and I want to Overlord, and then Overlord can trade with... Well, it can't trade, but it can potentially race. No, it can't really race. Unfortunately, this deck is simply too powerful to exist in Legacy, and everybody knows it. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to fight like hell. I've got 4 Fairy Macabres in the sideboard specifically for this matchup. Distributed across 80 cards. So it's the equivalent of 3 Fairy Macabres in a 60 card deck, but should do something. Okay, and we see that waste was probably completely in vain. They've had plenty of land, despite playing 16 lands in their deck. They bend a daze. Okay, we're going to take a crunch. The good news is this deck is not famous for its removal. So now you can Thoughtseize away. You know, Overlord would be scary if they reanimate it for sure. Overlord is devastating and they absolutely need to take it, and they're crazy if they don't. I am going to board out my what are they called in this matchup? You don't want them Thoughtseizing and reanimating your Oculus. That's a great way to lose. Like, we have a lot of cards in our graveyard, in our deck that are bad to reanimate, but that one is terrible. All right. What I'm going to do here is put this on the stack, but I'm going to hold priority so we can activate it. So this is a trick you need to be aware of if you're going to play Vial decks, is sometimes you want to put the counter on it, but you want to get the trigger. Okay, and so now we can say yes. Now we get a card. Okay, so this gets an island. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to island, and then I'm going to go get Yorion. Then I'll attack, and I'll put Strix in exile. We'll get a draw trigger. Yorion to hand. Let's swing. Attack trigger. Felia exiles Strix. We do 2 damage. Strix comes back. Felia gets stronger. Every time she brings something back to her master, like, she gets a little pat on the head and some puppy chow that makes her stronger. Brainstorm, not a bad rip. I don't know that they play Orcish Bowmasters in their deck. If they do, that's pretty scary because they can hit this and they also lock us out of Brainstorm. Okay, they're brainstorming. They haven't put a GG monster in the graveyard yet. That Thoughtseize was just like tragically timed. We were about to go to town, but I'm glad I was at least able to get Felia into play. So we're going to take just 3 this combat damage because I do want to put the Strix out. Okay, another Undercity Sewer. Don't mind the slow roll unless they happen to bin something really good, which they did because they're playing Brainstorm, so they knew what was going to be there, and now they probably... They don't have the reanimation effect, or are they going to wait till after combat to do it? They're going to wait till after combat. All right. Feeling pretty dead. Like, this Atraxa represents a lot of grief. And not the banned kind. The kind that is as old as humanity. Time immemorial. Don't do it. Don't animate this. If they reanimate it, they go low, but not low enough that we can kill them, unfortunately. Because we could like blink it out of existence and swing in. Brazen Borrower on our Vial is unfortunate, but certainly not the worst thing that could happen here. Tomio. I think I want to get rid of this. Okay, so I could flip and distract. Maybe they would focus on her, and I don't know if that's a good play. All right, I'm just going to do the time efficient thing. We're going to hit this. Okay, they're going to take 3. I mean, there's no point in like blocking. I guess we could hold everything back to block. That doesn't seem like a good play because it's blown up by so many different things. I think I'm going to brainstorm first. Okay, we did find a plow. I think we have to plow. I don't want this Tamiyo. I don't really want this Vial anymore. I think it's too late. I'm just going to fetch a land that they're going to waste. I'll go ahead and attempt to plow first. I think it is important to get this off the table. They're down to 1 card. Let's go ahead and put our Tamiyo out. I think it's highly likely that they waste us. They can also bring this into block. Oh, drew another land off the top. That's not great. So if the last card is a Daze, Yorion doesn't do anything. It's pretty bad. Okay, they're just Swamp Cycling is their last card. That's great. But they are going to draw a card. So there's a decent chance they find a reanimation effect here for their Atraxa. Okay, pondering. Still risk of Atraxa coming back. I don't think we can beat Atraxa even with Yorion. They just get so much value. And they have lots of other things in their graveyard that they can reanimate. Odds of them not finding a reanimation effect are very low. We'll be very lucky if they don't have it. Land. Yep, there's the reanimate. Okay, they get to refill their hand. And that's not an exaggeration. They can sometimes get like 6 cards off of this. I'm not giving up yet because we have Caracas, we have Solitude. We've got a lot of stuff that'll at least keep us in the game. They're used to their opponents just scooping upon resolution of this. Okay, so they got Entomb, Misty, Daze, Thoughtseize. They can cast the Thoughtseize and take our Yorion. They've got Tainted Indulgence, which is an instant. Animate Dead, which is an enchantment. They've got Barragoyf. They got Troll. Okay, so they kept Animate Dead, Polluted Delta, Thoughtseize, Entomb, Barragoyf. Okay, they're going to go ahead and waste us here. They can Entomb the other monster and reanimate it next turn. They're going to Thoughtseize us here, I'm sure. Yeah, it would be a huge mistake not to, in my humble opinion. So take our only non-land card. All right. That doesn't do anything. We're dead. They're going to reanimate the giant thing. Okay, so here's the option. They can't attack us without having this die. But if they, okay, so here's the Hail Mary. We attack with everything. We don't blink this because blinking this is actively terrible because they'll just get a trigger again. We attack. We blink the Strix. We potentially draw something off the Tamiyo trigger. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna attack everything here. It doesn't matter. We get the clue. They don't have Daze. We know that. So this creates the clue. Before I choose what to target. So I'll put this on the stack first, and then I can choose what to target. Oh, I have to choose before. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and draw a card after this clue is created. Looking for a white source or a plow. We found Overlord, which isn't bad, but it does mean that like our Felia is doomed here. We're going to gain a bunch of life. Yeah, it's pretty terrifying and terrible. Okay. And unfortunately, we can't even play out the Overlord. What can we do here? I think we can play out a Vial, which is like comically bad. I should have played out a tap land. That was bad. Okay. Yeah, we're going to get a card off Baleful Strix. They can attack in. We can sack this when they bring back the other thing. We're going to lose a bunch of life, but this will die in combat. Oh, that happened in the end step too. We don't even get to use the ability. Yeah, I didn't think about that triggering. Yeah, I think I'm playing tilted. I think that the Atraxa happening and just like feeling the inevitable crush of this deck, which I've got like maybe a 25% win rate historically against 30, maybe. I don't know. It's fine. I guess if I had played the Delta, then I could have actually... No, I wouldn't be able to play this because these are both tap lands. So I think they're going to go ahead and... Yeah, we don't even... Oh, we can sacrifice a Planeswalker. Okay, so they're going to Entomb, and I'll sacrifice the Planeswalker, and then they still won't be able to attack. We'll get one turn to find an answer to Archon. Okay, that works. Oh, they got Gristlebrand instead. Well, that's bad. Draw 7 cards. Maybe they're playing Gristlebrand instead of Archon. Like, I feel like Archon is the get there because it's like inevitable. All they need to do is attack, and then we die. All right, we need to find a Solitude, and we need to find a white card. I don't think we're likely to find either of those. Their hand is basically unknown at this point. I saw a Baragorf, but we'll see what they discard here. Okay, what do we draw? White card. That's not going to do it. I'm going to concede. There was no path to victory there. Even if they connect with Atraxa, they get to draw so many cards that they can just replace her. I mean, we might have worked through their monsters, but what we're going to do is we're just not going to let their monsters hit the table. We're going to bring these in as soon as I can figure out what's going on with MTGO. Come on, MTGO. Work. Okay. So we'll keep the Bogart Trawler in. We're taking out Harbinger. We're taking out Lavinia. Witch Enchanter is pretty weak. It is a land. It can really only hit Animate Dead, and that's very much like just putting the creature back in the graveyard where they can reanimate it. I think Bowmasters is pretty weak. Hull Breacher is pretty terrible too. It pitches to Force though. I think maybe we cut a Wasteland, but that does mean that we're because wasting this deck seems like a totally fruitless effort. They can win off a single black source. Samewise can potentially give us the ability to attack through, but I mean they can just get their basic. I feel like Samewise is a weak card here, so we did just cut a bunch of white cards, which means it's going to be a little harder to cast Solitude. So we've got 4, 10, 14, 18. That's it. That's pretty low. I mean, we might be able to outvalue them with cards like Samwise. It's not that bad of a card. Bogart Trawler is good. Maybe we cut like one of the Tundras. Since we're cutting a white... No, that doesn't necessarily make sense. I don't want to cut any blue sources. I think it's extremely unlikely that our basics matter, but it might be nice. Like we did fetch them there. Oh, I need to cut these Abhorrent Oculuses. That's what I'm going to cut. Okay, and then we can get Witch Enchanter back in. Yeah, like this is just a massive liability against Reanimator decks. I mean, like Bowmasters is a liability too, but not nearly as much. Like Oculus, it hits the table and it's like basically like, okay, do you have removal right now? This is a great hand. This is about as good as our hands can get. I'm going to wait for just a second so our opponent doesn't think we snap capped. All right. And I'm just going to open... I'll keep our options up, but I'm going to open Plains into Vial. It's worth noting that we don't have Force up yet. But we do have like the strongest turn 1 we can have, which is Vial. Basic into Vial, even. Next turn we can Surveil. They may take out their Dazes on the draw. Still, the Felia Overlord combo is so strong, I would hate to have it be broken up. The value of their Dazes plunges very quickly. I think we just chill. We're just going to take like a 2-turn line, basically. If we can find a land, then we can Balemurk around Daze. That's fine. I don't really want to have to use a Fairy Macabre just to get rid of the Troll. By the way, I'm using the French pronunciation. I don't want you to think I'm an idiot or something like that. It is pronounced Macabre. Macabre in French. Pardon my mediocre French. I just want to acknowledge that I know everybody in the United States says Macabre because it's like this famous metal band or something like that. Everybody knows how to say Macabre. What about the metal band? Macabre. Okay, yeah, so this resolves. I do think we Surveil if they don't play a Wasteland because I am looking for specifically another land so I can play Overlord around Daze. I mean, this is risky. I think I'm going to do this, and then I'm just going to hit the... yeah. Because Overlord will get this right back. That's the beauty of Overlord in this deck. It just keeps getting your awesome Fairy Macabre back so many times so you can use it. All right, perfect. That's exactly what we wanted to see. And now we have Daze Protected and Force Protected path to being able to exile their graveyard cards at instant speed, uncounterably, just like all the adjectives. I will force to protect this. We're getting the spinner, unfortunately. Come on, MTGO. Yes, I want to use it. Yes, I want to get back the Fairy Macabre. And later, I'll get back Solitude. Please, MTGO. This is a really time-intensive, clock-intensive matchup. We've been playing well. We're well ahead of our opponent. Don't do this to me right now, MTGO. Okay, so we'll get back the Fairy. Solitude's in there for later. They might actually reanimate our Solitude, which we can stop if we need to. They're going to wish that they played a removal-heavy deck against us. We're going to make them pay for playing so little removal and being so cavalier. Like, oh, Archon of Cruelty isn't good enough removal? Yes, it is. It is very good removal. But it's not in the quantity that they need to be able to respect a deck like ours. They don't have to respect decks like ours, though, because nobody's playing this deck. Everybody's playing Eldrazi, and they can just completely destroy Eldrazi. Okay, Ponder's fine. I am not going to get the Surveillant precisely because I don't want to go shields down with his force. I think it's too important that we stop their interaction. This is the critical juncture where going and getting a Surveillant is cute and fun, but you could very much die because you did it. Because we may have to force something and they may have days, and we need this mana to be able to pay for days. All right, another cantrip. Loading up the graveyard if they have Murktide. All right, end step. Deploy the dog. All right. She is ready to wreak havoc. Fatal Push. No thank you, ma'am. All right, and that was a snap because this is going to get back Solitude, and we're just going to be getting insane value off this. Let's see what we draw. Tamiyo is a pitch to force later. I probably don't really need to play her out. I could. Yeah, I think I'll play her out. So we connect. I think I am going to play her out. Just as another point of inevitability. There are specific things they could do. Thoughtseize, Entomb, Reanimate. Like that exact line would be good here. Let's get back a Solitude. I mean, we could get back Samwise. I feel like this is good, though, because we're going to tick up toward it. I just want to make sure, even if they remove our Overlord, that we've gotten a lot of value out of it. Also, having Solitude in your graveyard is a liability against the Reanimate deck. They could absolutely reanimate it and then go after one of your cards. So it is safer in our hand than it is in our graveyard. Note that we did flip an Overlord, and they could Overlord themselves. EE for 1. That's unfortunate, but yeah, Tamiyo's going to bite it. So is our Vial that we were hoping to use later. We're going to be able to get another creature. We're going to get Samwise back, and then we'll have Solitude up. Had I gotten Samwise, I could get back like Tamiyo or our Vial or something here. But Samwise will be able to get back a land. Looks like they might be... What are they doing that uses life total? Is this a Dismember? Yeah, Dismembering our Overlord. Dismembering that. Okay. I think the real thing you need to worry about is the Overlord that's about to clock you. Do you have an answer for that too? Because Dismember cleanly answers this. If they haven't read the text, they may not realize that every time it attacks, we get the trigger too. All right, I am going to go ahead and fetch here. And you may be asking, don't you want to put Fairy Macabre in as a beater? Because that does accelerate the clock, but that would be the cockiest thing imaginable. All right, they're doing something here. Blowing EE. Nothing I can do about it. EE, Electrical Engineering, Engineered Explosives. All right. This is a good card. Let's go ahead and just swing, and we'll just get back... I think we could get back Felia. That might be more consequential than getting back Samwise, considering we don't have anything. Yeah, I'll get back Felia. I could get back Recruiter. No, I'll just get Felia back. So they take 5. I think I am going to go ahead and play this out just because I like just holding this as something we can pitch. Okay, we got another one. So we're building our army. We're covered on a lot of fronts. If they do somehow reanimate something, they would need a lot of Thoughtseizes, and they're low on life. Let's put it that way. They're not quite dead on board. I've had stuff to do every single turn with my mana, especially since I took out my Vial. This is not pleasant, but it's okay. It's like a 3-for-1 basically at this point. They're down to 2 cards. That's the important thing to keep in mind. Even if those 2 cards are in Tomb Reanimate, it's not good enough. They need to have a Thoughtseize first. We're depriving them of a resource they use a lot, which is their life. I'm going to go ahead and swing in. At this point, I kind of want to just play another Strix to increase likelihood of drawing a land. I could instep Felia. I really want to get a land. I hope this doesn't come across as overly greedy, but like land unlocks so much stuff if we can find one. Even like any land, literally any land in our deck. Okay, great. That's great. And that is Felia. And do we want to go for Felia now? I think I'll wait and see what they do. They could easily daze this. They troll. It's not a big deal. We've got Solitude. Like hardcast troll. This is fine. Brazen Borrower can come out to defend against the Strix, pecking away at their life total. Look at these things. They're ready to party. This is like the most, party animal ever. He is like landing and he's ready to like crack open the beverages and dive into the snack bar, eat some hummus. Troll cycling. Fairy Macabre can take out both of those trolls, which I'm very excited about doing. Just give me a reason. Isn't that like a Clint Eastwood thing? Give me a reason to do it. 2 cards in hand. Archon's in the graveyard now. I mean, sure, just reanimate Archon. I will let you do it. I will not stop you from reanimating Archon if you'd like to do that. They are going for reanimate on our own creature, Recruiter of the Guard. I don't know what they can get with that, but that's going to do 3 damage to them. I'm going to let that happen. It could be that they have Bowmaster in their deck. How devastating would that be? I think we can still win. Yeah, I don't want to give up Fairy Macabre when they have a freaking Archon or Cruelty in their deck. Got 1 card in hand. What are the odds this is a daze? They're on the draw. I think they boarded out. I think I'm going to go for it, but yeah, there's the Bowmasters. I'm kind of like hoping that they just burn up more of their clock because they've been playing very slow, and that is kind of a win con for me. Let's think about this. If we get the days out of their hand with Felia, then we do most likely have Solitude next turn. Okay, that's in. All right, yeah, you can poke something. That's fine. We can also just Skyclave this out of the way. Oh, we can actually, yeah, if we Skyclave and then we target this, it comes back into play under our control. Okay, so here's what we do. I'm just going to get this out of the way with the Solitude. They're going to gain 1. There might be some way to win. Let's think about this. Is there a way to win? So they're at 4. We're only hitting for 3 maximum. I think the correct thing to do is just to go ahead and Solitude here and then bounce that to our side. I think if they had days, they would have dazed. That would be a blowout. And we will just target this. It's going to come into play on our side. And we will use it to get yet another Solitude. Just close a little bit more in terms of angles they have to win. There are 2. Okay, Felia gets buffed. We go get a Solitude. I can't believe they haven't scooped yet, considering how little time they have on their clock. They're crazy. They have a lot of confidence in their ability to win quickly. And again, their deck can win basically on turn 2. So it's not like their confidence is ill-founded or anything. Baragoyf is not going to cut it. I've got a freaking Solitude in my hand. It will keep you alive for a turn. 1 more card. Okay, the last card in their deck. They're just playing out their Borrower. That makes sense. Okay. I think I'm just going to go ahead and Solitude this and then attack. Again, they could have days. If they have days, it's bad. Okay, they don't days. I'll just do that. Okay, and they scooped. So they have 5 minutes and 8 seconds. I think they waited way too long to scoop. Like I feel like we were really far ahead for a really long time there. Yeah, I don't think we changed anything. I'm pretty worried though. Again, like this match, this matchup is a nightmare for me. It feels like no matter, like I'll always have like a really great game 2, and then like they'll just turn 1 me or turn 2 me. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not superstitious. I don't believe in jinxing anything. I do believe, however, in addressing grievances. A redress or grievance. I can't remember all the terminology that I learned in college. Whatever. All right, on the draw, we're looking for Fairy Macabre. Is really the number one thing we want. We have 30% chance of finding one. I don't think this is good enough. We need to be prepared for their nut draw. This doesn't even cast Plow. They mulled to 6. This is also not keepable. Bogart Troller is not bad, but I feel like there's a very real chance that we don't get to it. I'm going to mull. This has Karakas, which at least deals with 2 of their minis. I feel very uncomfortable keeping this, but I think it is a keep. I'm not going to go to 4. They may just, because they're so low on cards, they may just go crazy with like mulling aggressively to try to get the combo hand. This does not address the combo hand. I think maybe I do need to mulligan one more time. Oh my goodness. We're so screwed. All right, I'm going to keep. We need Overlord to dig us out of this. I'm going to put this back. Hull Breacher's too slow. It is a blue card to pitch to force. Overlord may find us the card if we get it. If we get to turn 2, we may be able to get it off the card. Solitude is better. And we need to put one more card. I am not crazy enough to. Vial, it seems pretty integral to pulling ahead, but it is a longer game card. However, they do play a lot of disruption. Yeah, I'm going to put back this any white card, and we have Solitude up, and that saves us from Troll. All right, I'm freaking crazy, but I do think we need this card to recoup value, and I think we need this card to stay alive. That's my reasoning. We're probably dead. That was a really, really rough series of mulligans. You could argue that the first hand was fine. We didn't need a mulligan that. There we go. Such a relief. Such a relief. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get... I think I'm going to get an Underground Sea here. It's possible that they just like waste us. And then... Yeah, I think we need to get Underground Sea because we need to cast this Overlord. This might very well get dazed. They may very well have a Wasteland. I don't think they keep Wasteland when they're mulling as thin as they are. We got so lucky to rip that Fairy Macabre. It's probably just going to get the seized out of our hand. But, we needed to at least have a prayer here. They're doing this really cool looking island. I've never seen that before. It's pretty awesome. It's like a Great Gatsby looking thing. Very, what is that era? What is that called? Art Deco-y. Yeah. Okay. They've got their colors. They've got basics. We're not going to disrupt anything. They're not disrupting us. Okay. We're ticking up. They're probably waiting to get a Thoughtseize. Sadly, we will probably have to use Fairy Macabre on Troll. Force doesn't help us at all. We're chilling. We're in the waiting room for a land. We don't have the mana to get Yorion, but that is something that is something to look forward to. Here's the Entomb. Are we dead? This is good because now, unless they're playing Stifle, which I have seen decks play Stifle, terrifying. I have seen Reanimator play Stifle. All right, let's hit this and this. All right, are we still alive? Are we going to survive this game? Okay, Animate Dead comes in. There's nothing. Yeah, it has to target, so they can't get our fairy. I didn't think about that but okay. So best draws, Strix, land, lots of stuff we can draw here. Solitude's not terrible. I'm not going to complain. I'll just pass. They have 3 minutes to figure out how to win. 3 cards in hand. Their most powerful monster is out of play. Brainstorm. Once this levels up to 5, we're basically unkillable because we just machine gun our Solitudes out there. It'll be glorious. I don't know if the game will last that long. I'm definitely not going to end the game that early, so I have to assume that they have days in their deck and that casting out Overlord is seriously risky, but it will get us back a Fairy Macabre if it resolves. Okay. I mean, if this gets up to 5, we could actually use it to... Whoa, we got it! They scooped. They did not need to scoop. We had nothing going on. They could have been more patient. All right, that's a 4-1. And that one game, if you recall, like game 1, the very first game we played where it felt like a doomed league, like, oh, we're going to just get destroyed. No, we go on to beat the European world champion of Legacy. We beat my friend Quirios, who's an S-tier player. We beat Reanimator. We beat lots of exciting decks. This deck is fun as hell if you are fast. If you're not fast, don't play this deck because this deck is the most click-intensive deck ever. Every game, okay, I have to reveal Yori, and it's like 3 clicks. Okay, now I have to manage my Vial triggers, and I have to manage the Overlord triggers, constantly passing priority. If you screw up even one little thing, you have to fetch perfectly to have the right colors. This is a high-skill deck. But if you like high-skill decks, if you like playing control that just has tons of pathways, tons of lines, this is the deck for you, my friend, because this deck is an absolute blast. This is my favorite deck ever. And I am too much of a coward to take it to a major tournament that's going to be like 10 leagues long, but I'll take it to my FNM. I'll take it to local. I don't know that I would take it to the Hunter Burton Memorial Open, which is coming up in, I think, March here in Dallas. If you want to go to a big Legacy tournament, I think it'll probably be a 5K. Hunter Burton Open Memorial. Check it out. But I will be there. A lot of my friends will be there. We're going to be repping the Dallas crew, throwing around some Legacy cards. And this is just like one of my pet decks. Like I've just picked it up so many times. I've got Gilded Drake. Gilded Drake isn't currently in the deck. It certainly could be. I have 4 awesome Japanese Gilded Drakes that I like to bring out once in a while. But Gilded Drake does work really well with Felia. But then you kind of have to put like Teferi and Baron, Tolarian Archmage, and other cards that are kind of like meh in there. So I really like this particular build. The Oculuses were awesome. I think that this is probably the way to play it with 2 Oculi. My kids are being very loud. But yeah, like Oculus, great card. I mean, we saw it, we lost to it in the first round, right? We played against 2 Dreadnought decks, beat them both. Did we play against 3 Dreadnought decks? I think we did. Yeah. I mean, this deck can have Dreadnought, which is pretty good. Like we adapted to the stifles and stuff like that. The slings and arrows of Outrageous Fortune, and we got there. And it was so fun. I'm trying to think of like the high point of the entire match, but like definitely having Overlord on the table flipped and attacking with Felia just feels like, if you've ever watched like the Avengers movie when all your heroes are like running in the same frame and like you see like Hulk like just jumping in ready to smash something. It felt like we had assembled like the awesome dream team of just cool, quirky characters. Never got to see Hellbreacher in action. This is mostly there because it pitches the force. Let's talk about the list a little bit. So in terms of blue cards, we don't have a lot. We've got 8, 10, better counting 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 main deck in 40 cards. That's bad. Or in 80 cards. That is a bad mix of blue cards. So I think we probably get Samwise out of here. He's definitely fun. He's cute. But I don't think that he is necessary here. I think the Wastelands stand on their own, even without Wasteland Recursion. There was a moment. Okay, so if you remember, we may have only faced. Yeah, what did we face? Oh, we faced Eldrazi. So the game against Eldrazi, where I was about to do the Samwise thing, that unfortunately, like they scooped before we got a chance. But basically, here's what you do: turn 1, land; turn 2, land, like a fetch land. Okay, turn 3, or turn 2, end step, fetch Samwise. You got your 3rd land. Now you could play the Caracas. Okay, and now you got the Caracas, you can attack with Samwise or whatever, and now you can play the Wasteland, bounce with Caracas, replay Samwise, waste again, or you can do it even faster. So you can go turn 1, land, turn 2, second land. Maybe you can play out the Caracas as the second land, right? Okay, so you'd want to have a fetch already on the table, then you have a Caracas. Now, what you're doing is you're fetching to get the other land that you're going to use to cast Samwise. Then you return this to hand, and then you have Samwise on the table. You can waste them. Then you Caracas bounce. No, you don't have enough mana to do that. The earliest you can start doing the Samwise Wasteland loop is turn 4. And everything has to go well. Like, you can't have been wasted or anything like that. It's very powerful. But is it really very powerful if it's a turn 4 thing in Legacy? I would argue it's not. It's fun. It works really well against certain decks. It's not necessarily going to win you the game. And I would argue it is very mana intensive. It's basically the only thing you've got going on during those turns that you're Samwise. But you can technically infinitely recur Wastelands with Caracas, Wasteland, 2 lands, and a Samwise. So my cut would be, let's take this out. I mean, you could play a third Oculus. It was freaking insane. It's a really good card. It's a blue card. We need blue cards. Yeah, I mean, maybe like, let's say we live in a fantasy land and we just have 4 of them in there. I don't know if that's correct, but it seems good enough. The other options, of course, you can dig into the long history. JTL 005, pioneer of this deck. He's very active in the Discord. If you want to check in there, I'm active in there too. And you better believe I'm going to post this and be very proud that we 4-1'd and that we nearly 5-0'd. Assuming, again, that we could have won that first game, which we lost. I'm going to look forward to watching that and figuring out exactly where that went wrong. But it felt like we were doing well in that first game. And one of the trends you'll see with this deck is like you'll often win game 1, and then game 2 will last. But games 1 and games 2 will last so long there won't even be time for a game 3. And technically, this is like, in paper, that actually works to your advantage. A lot of control decks will win game 1, and then there just won't be time for a game 3, so they'll be up, and their opponent won't be able to kill them, and they'll go into turns of game 2, and then their opponent will just have to concede because there's no way that they can do anything more than draw. So maybe they will stick it out and try to play and beat you just to spite you so that you get a... Well, no, if they would lose because you would have the win and they wouldn't, so they would have to beat you. Anyway, my point is, it's not like an honorable thing, in my opinion, to like play to the clock in a paper tournament, and I don't do it. I do it sometimes on MTGO, but in real life, at a paper tournament, like, I'm going there to have fun. I'm not going to try to get glory, like, really. And I'm not like an angle shooting kind of spike type player. I want to have fun. That's why I'm playing decks like this instead of just playing, the Delver Burn deck that I played. Or really, let's face it, if I just wanted to win, I would just play a blue-black Reanimator, and hopefully, I'd get good enough at it that I would be trophying with it regularly, because it's a broken tier deck. I know we just beat it and all, but it is a broken deck. So there's my little 2 cents on it, and they need a ban and tomb. I'll stop talking about it. Okay, so back to this deck. If I wanted to just win a whole lot, and if I was a true spike, I think I'd just play that. I genuinely think, objectively, that is the deck to play. However, I don't even own Entombs. I've never played the deck. I've never reanimated anything other than like a Grief. I did play Scam back before it evolved into the... so you could say I have blood on my hands for ever reanimating anything. But I don't think Reanimator itself is a problematic deck, but I do think Entomb is a problematic card because it gives the Reanimator player so much deck space to fill with other good cards. Because a traditional Reanimator deck has to have like a lot of monsters, and they have to be able to... But with Entomb, what it does is you play 4 Entomb, and then you only have to play 2 monsters. So you're really like giving up 6 slots in your entire deck to mediocre cards that can't just be cast out of your hand. And I think that that's what pushes it over the line. Anyway, so this deck, what will we bring in? I think it would be Oculus number 3. You don't want to get the blue counter any lower. Some people play Lorien Revealed. You can play a Teferi. My thinking on Teferi is right now, blue-black tempo is playing like 4 Orcish Bowmasters. A lot of control decks are playing Bowmasters. Like Beanstalk is playing some number of Bowmasters. I think the correct number is 4. If you're in black, I think Beanstalk really needs 4 to be able to fend off opposing Bowmasters. The I Would Like to Respond deck, that is Esper Control, is playing 4 Bowmasters. Like, you kind of need Bowmasters to kill Bowmasters. Do we really need these Bowmasters? No, but it does cleanly deal with the Bowmasters, which can be a problem for our deck because we are playing Baleful Strix and Brainstorm. It's not the end of the world. But we need these Strix in here for the blue count alone is important enough. So if you up the Oculus, or if you got a second Hull Breacher, I think that could also be good. Hull Breacher is good. We didn't see it in action, but it's just completely like Hull Breacher off of an Aether Vial is absolutely backbreaking because it's basically uncounterable, just completely ruin your hand because they have to put 2 cards back. They don't get any cards. And then you get a bunch of treasure and your deck is very well equipped to spend mana to do things. Like that is basically all your deck does. That's why you're playing Vial. Vial is kind of virtual mana to help ramp out your threats. You get lots of value. You've got lots of cards. You've got Yorion to get. You can do Yorion loops, but all of that is contingent on having mana. And that's why Aether Vial is the absolute must counter card if you're playing against this deck. And I would argue, like if you're playing against Death and Taxes, you should always go against this. How is this deck different than Death and Taxes? This is basically Death and Taxes that can beat combo. That's how I think of it. It's 4 forces, 4 more forces in the side. Like you're not great against combo, but you're better off than probably like 70% of decks. Like you're not better off than 60 card Force of Will Daze decks though. Definitely not. I don't want you to think that, oh, this deck has Force, so it's got a great combo matchup. No, combo is not positive. What this deck does is it preys on mid-range and control decks, while also not completely dying to combo. It would be the best way I describe it. But really what this deck does is have a freaking blast because this is the most fun deck ever. So I'll leave it there. If you love value, check out the list. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.